Hey, what's up? This is Logical Black Man. So, just here to talk about this officer-involved shooting of a dog, a fatal shooting of a dog here in LA, over where I live in the San Fernando Valley. So this happened, well, based on today's recording, 8 days ago, first day of summer solstice, June 21, but it happened on the 13th. And as it turns out, I was there like right after it happened because I was on my way home from getting some takeout. Shout out to Teriyaki Bowl and Burger in Canoga Park. Definitely check them out. But so I'm driving home and I hear all these sirens. Police cars are approaching from several different directions. I'm like, man, something really went down. And so first I was just gonna keep going, but I'm kind of nosy like that. So I turned down the street to investigate. Now I'm pretty cautious because something like this happened years earlier in the daytime in my actual neighborhood where I live, and they had some of the streets blocked off. So I get in my car and go ask like one of the officers who's posted. I said, what happened? He's like, it's a man with a gun or something. And then he's like, the suspect was a black male. Can I search your car? I'm like, no. And then I said, I'm gonna drive off. He said, hold on. Now, you and I both know that they didn't shot too many of us, over trying to drive off. I specifically have that incident in my mind. That guy in Cincinnati, I think it was a Cincinnati University. Like a university police officer, dude was trying to drive off and he shot him and killed him. And so, I didn't want to drive off and be the next, headline. So he shined a light in my car. Again, it was daytime, but I had a minivan. So he was looking in the back compartments, from outside, but I felt like it was an illegal search, but I digress. So anyway, I pull up, fast forward to the shooting the other night. I pull up and I ask somebody what happened. They're just like, oh, shots fired, whatever. So I took a little video, 30 seconds or so, whatever. And then I left. Fast forward to last night, and I see this story of, a dog getting shot, and I put the facts together and realized that was the same, event that I was at. I was like, oh man, I was right there. The street name and everything, the time of the day. So here's the actual incident. So basically, it was a 911 call of a woman who was repeatedly screaming, oh my God, like for 20 minutes. Okay, that's pretty much all the call said. A lot of people are killing the caller, like saying it's her fault. So the officer shot and killed the dog. It was the ultimate result. So people are saying, oh, the woman who made the call, it's her fault because, she called the police in the first place. And I just, you can listen to the 911 call online. So based on what I heard, she did nothing wrong. I mean, all she said was that somebody was screaming, oh my God, for 20 minutes. And she asked for a, quote, wellness check. Those were her exact words. So, it wasn't like she embellished the situation. It was like, oh, someone's getting killed or, whatever. She just said, a woman's been screaming. Can you, a wellness check? So she did nothing wrong. People are like, well, why didn't she go check on the neighbor? And I'm like, please, especially as a woman, but it's like, you don't know what's going on inside that apartment, So she did the right thing. So cops respond, they knock on the door. She opens it and the dog is right there. Big ass dog, just barking loudly. Like, a very bassy, aggressive bark. So the report was that it's a Saint Bernard poodle and what was the other one? Golden Retriever, I think they called it a Golden Doodle Saint Bernard mix. I guess all those are non-aggressive breeds, but the dog was barking loudly, so the cops asked her to put it away. So she takes the dog, closes the door, and it comes back out, but the dog is right there. I'm like, what was the purpose of that? So there's two officers. So she opens the door and they're like, did you put the dog away? So she is facing one officer. She's turned to her right. The door is open. They're like, put it away, put it away. The dog goes out to her left, is barking again, and then charges the officer who tries to back up, and then he shoots it. Bang, 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 something like that. And then, the woman starts screaming and everything, and, the dog is killed. So, most people are just, they're killing these cops. And listen, the problems with law enforcement are, legion, okay? I mean, just the type of people they hire and stuff, that could go on and on about that. But I try to be objective, and I don't think the officers did anything wrong. I mean, they told the woman to put the dog away several times. They said, could you put the dog away? Oh, so the second time, when the actual shooting, they were like, is the dog put away? She said, it's not aggressive. And then the dog immediately acts aggressive. I'm like, just put your dog in the bedroom. That's all you got to do. All she had to do is put the dog in the bedroom, or just kind of, keep the dog inside, and then she'd go out and talk to the officers, and the dog would still be alive. But I got to tell you, man, a lot of these dog owners, I'm sorry, they ain't got no sense. They think it's all about them and their dog, and they don't care about, their dog's actions impacting other people. And I can admit, I am biased because, like, I have an upstairs neighbor whose dog just barks incessantly, and it's just, incredibly irritating. 6:30 in the morning. But anyway, so just giving a little bit of my personal experience. But, regardless, you have a large dog. Nobody else sees your dog the way you do, which is, I got that from a YouTube comment, but it's true. You think your dog is adorable and, oh, it's a gentle giant, whatever. These cops don't know that. It's a large dog. It's barking loudly, and then it charges the officer. I mean, it ran at him. I don't know what else to call it. So, he shot it. These cops are not obligated to stand there and try to manually, like fight a dog, like with their hands, or hope a taser. The tasers only work if you're at a distance, because you have to shoot the wires or whatever, and then it has to take effect. Tasers don't work a lot of the time too. So I don't really fault the officers for anything. I fault the woman completely. Irresponsible dog owner. She probably lets the dog bark all hours of the night just from the irresponsible way she was handling it, because she shouldn't have even had to be told to put the dog away. She should have known she has a large dog. It barks loudly. So common sense and empathy for the people who might be, intimidated by large dogs should have just told her to keep the dog inside in the first place. So anyway, you can definitely check out the footage online and leave a comment below. Logical Black Man, thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe, and I'm out.